Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. There is this ancient Stoic secret for turning life's absolute worst obstacles into your most powerful fuel for growth. Today, we're going to explore a concept that will completely rewire how you experience adversity. We're talking about a formula that doesn't just ask you to merely survive the storms of life, but actually use them to propel yourself forward.
Let's be real for a second and consider your default reaction to life's roadblocks. Are you instinctively screaming at the universe because things aren't going your way? When you're handed a raw deal, is your very first impulse to fight reality? Just desperately wishing the past could be undone or that the present was somehow different? We all do it, and it feels completely natural. But as you'll see, it is incredibly draining.
Think about the modern stressors we face every single day. We're talking about getting stuck in brutal traffic, sudden job losses, painful breakups, or honestly, even just dealing with emotional triggers online. We spend our lives in this constant, exhausting state of war with reality, mistakenly believing that our anger somehow gives us strength. We think that if we just get mad enough at the traffic or the breakup, we're fighting back. But in truth, that resistance is our greatest weakness. The Stoic philosopher Seneca hit the nail on the head regarding this human misery. He figured out that we suffer primarily because we tell ourselves these fictional stories about how things should have been. The actual event, like losing the job, is really only half the pain. The other half, and usually the much larger half, is the narrative we spin in our own imaginations. We literally torture ourselves with alternate realities that simply don't exist.
Take Zeno, the founder of Stoicism. He lived this perfectly. Over 2,000 years ago, he was a wildly successful merchant, and then a catastrophic shipwreck took absolutely everything. His entire fortune sank, and he washed up in Athens, totally homeless and bankrupt. But instead of cursing the gods, he used this exact tragedy to completely rebuild his life. He started studying under the great minds and birthed a revolutionary philosophy designed specifically for people who need to stand firm in the storm. Years later, Zeno looked back on losing his entire livelihood and said this completely mind-blowing phrase: "I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered shipwreck." He realized that true power comes from reframing disaster. He proved that accepting your fate isn't some passive weakness, it's a strategic pivot. That shipwreck wasn't the end of his life. It was the harsh, necessary beginning of his true legacy. So how do we actually achieve this level of resilience? Well, the Stoics developed a brilliant mental tool called the dichotomy of control. It's incredibly simple. When you stop wasting your precious energy fighting external outcomes, the past, or what other people think, you free up a massive amount of energy to control what you actually can. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices. That is your actual domain of power. Actually, let's pause here because there's a huge misunderstanding we need to clear up. We have to completely unlearn this assumption that if we don't feel outraged by a bad situation, we've somehow given up. That is literally a near miss of the truth. True Stoic acceptance is absolutely not passive resignation. It is rational alignment with reality. It means looking at the facts clearly, dropping the useless emotional resistance, and just deciding what your best next move is. If you think these are just coping mechanisms for the defeated, take a look at Marcus Aurelius. This guy was a Roman emperor, a man with absolute power, yet he kept a private diary of Stoic principles, what we now call his meditations, just to stay disciplined. He didn't accept fate because he was weak. He embraced it because it was literally the only way to rule a chaotic world without completely losing his mind. A huge part of Marcus Aurelius' strength was his expansive view of humanity, something the Stoics called cosmopolitanism. He practiced this profound magnanimity because he viewed the entire world as one big family. He didn't just obsess over his own internal state. He saw that a divine rationality flows through everyone. He famously wrote that whatever is in accord with the world is in accord with him. We are all deeply connected citizens of the world. And this brings us to the absolute climax of our explainer, the concept of Amor Fati. It's a Latin phrase meaning love of fate, and it pushes way, way beyond mere tolerance. It is the radical attitude of viewing every single thing that happens in your life, even the deep suffering, even the devastating losses, as absolutely necessary for your growth. Fast forward a few centuries, and the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche took this Stoic acceptance to its absolute limit. He demanded that we don't just bear necessity, but that we fiercely love it. To him, Amor Fati was the ultimate formula for human greatness. It's the ability to look at your entire life and want nothing to be different. Not forward, not backward,
not in all eternity, no regrets.
So, how in the world do we actually do that? Well, to a Stoic, external events are considered indifferent. That means the event itself isn't objectively good or bad. It is entirely our internal reaction that determines if it becomes good or bad fuel for our fire. Think of a roaring fire. It consumes everything thrown into it, logs, trash, stuff that would immediately smother a small candle, and it uses all of it to grow brighter and hotter. Every obstacle is just more fuel.
Practicing Amor Fati requires a very intentional shift in how you speak to yourself. When you face a setback, you have to consciously shift your perspective from being a victim. Epictetus taught that instead of saying, "I have lost it," you should say, "I have restored it." You returned it to the universe. You have to start seeing every event, especially the really painful ones, as a direct opportunity to practice wisdom, courage, and justice.
To really put this to the test, Nietzsche proposed this haunting, almost terrifying thought experiment called the eternal recurrence. Imagine a demon came to you and said you had to live this exact life with all its amazing joys, but also all its horrific pains and mundane boredom over and over again for all eternity. Would you fall to the ground and curse him? Or would you consider it a divine blessing? That is the ultimate test of whether you're truly loving the cards you've been dealt.
We see this idea echoed in the modern era too, by Albert Camus in the myth of Sisyphus. You know the story. Sisyphus is cursed to push a massive boulder up a hill for eternity, only to watch it roll right back down. It's the ultimate image of a fruitless, agonizing struggle. But Camus argued that we must imagine Sisyphus happy. Just like the Stoics, the true art of letting go is finding peace by uncompromisingly saying yes to life exactly as it is, without wishing the struggle was somehow different. So, we have to stop waiting for some imaginary, better, easier life to begin. You can't change the past, and you certainly can't guarantee the future. All you have is this present moment. So I'll leave you with this question. What parts of your fate do you need to stop resisting and start loving today? If you had to relive it all eternally, would you curse it, or would you choose to be a yes-sayer to your life right now, exactly as it is?